Over the time the Vertigo has been out, there have been many different changes with the map itself, but also the way that teams will take ramp control as well. It is important that we understand the utility that is required to take ramp control at a decent to high level before anything else. Now I'll be going over only the CT side. As you all know, if you play Vertigo, it is mainly in control of the CT side to set the pace of how this area of the map is taken. So I feel it's very important we should talk about this specifically. So let's take a look at the utility that is required out of you when you're taking ramp control. It's great if you learn all of these so you can have multiple different ramp takes, however, don't worry if you struggle to remember them all. Starting with the ramp smoke here, there are many different ways that you can throw this smoke. I will first show you the best way to throw it in order to not mess it up and for it to land correctly so there aren't any gaps. Get yourself into this corner, aim as shown, then start running, making sure to run against the wall here on the left and release when your crosshair reaches here as well. As you can see, this lands perfectly on ramp, deep enough so that players can't see over it if you're going to be swinging to peak on this lower section. The second smoke that we will look at will be used towards yellow. That will stop any Ts peeking over the smoke and cutting off the ability to see a CT pushing this position as well. You throw this by getting your back against this wall on the corner and aiming as shown and simply left click throwing. This will land towards yellow for you, allowing for you to push the position safely. When using the smoke, you should always combine it with the first ramp smoke I previously have shown you. There are also a bunch of different variations of smokes you can throw from around the site to re-smoke ramp after your first one has faded. This is very useful to know instead of having to run all the way back to elevator in order to do this. The first one that I'll show you will be from default, aiming as shown, walking briefly before jump throwing. The second one will be from the sandbags position, aiming at the top of this crane here and using a jump throw bind. And even a third one that is probably a lot less useful, however can be very situational, getting into this corner, aiming as shown and jump throwing. And of course, you can always just re-smoke ramp a lot easier from around this area, just aiming in the middle and crouch left click throwing at about this height. Now that we've just spoken about and also gone through some smokes that are needed from you on CT, I think it's now important to know the flashbangs you should also use to support your teammates taking this area of the map. The first flash you should learn will be thrown from this position if you are also throwing the ramp smoke for your team. You want to get against this corner, aim as shown and left click throw. This will land as shown, blinding any Ts pushing up ramp and also any Ts that may be behind yellow as well. Just be warned with these flashbangs, your teammates do need to turn away from them, however this shouldn't really be an issue as long as you tell them where they're going and also when they're gonna pop as well. Now that we've gone over utility required, we will move on to the Parfane that you'll be taking when contesting this area of the map. You will need a total of between 3 to 4 people for this map control early on due to the fact how important this area is on Vertigo. One of these players will be the support player who will be throwing the ramp smoke and also the flashes. The other 2 to 3 players will either play off of each other, peeking towards lower ramp or even pushing towards yellow if you're confident enough as well. If you're the player going towards ramp, you should go on the lower part and also face this wall while swinging to make sure you aren't caught by your teammates' flashes. The reason you want to peek from this lower part is to make sure there aren't any Ts standing on this platform behind the smoke trying to look for an entry. Now speaking about the player who is coming from yellow, this player should try take as much space as possible with the deep yellow smoke and supportive flashes from their teammates. You have 2 options as this player. Either you can go to the right and kill any Ts who may push through the default ramp smoke, or even go left and push through the deep yellow smoke your teammate has thrown for you towards this position, being sort of more hyper aggressive and in the enemy's face. The hardest part of ramp control is being able to deal with the enemy team. I know it sounds sort of obvious saying it and a bit stupid, but the amount of aggression that happens from both the CT and T side can create some very chaotic situations. Something you should be aware of as a CT while taking this area of the map are the enemy flashes and utility like deep smokes that can come in from the enemy team. You should be very prepared for fast-paced rounds out of the T side, but also extremely passive rounds at the same time. When there are passive rounds, you should just have someone jump spotting on the sandbags here, allowing for everyone else to rotate off and help others around the map. However, don't run and rotate, as this map is all about rotations, so you don't want to be giving away any information to the enemy team. That's all I'm going to talk about in this video today, guys. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, as I don't want to throw too much information at you at once. Go out and try out everything I've shown you today. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. It's been Glaze, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.